But just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
It does appear that Joe Rogan is becoming more and more vocal against the Trump administration's foreign interventions. In this case, he's speaking out against the war against Iran, of course, on behalf of Israel. And he even got into a fiery debate with his guest, Michael Schellenberger, over whether or not this war is about doing what's right for the US versus Israel. But before we get to all of that, Cenk, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so look, I said in the beginning that the independent hosts have no reason to just toe the line for Donald Trump. It's a different environment than it used to be. Before, when they worked for Fox News, they'd get paid $20 million a year, so they had all the reason in the world to lie to you. But Rogan's already independently wealthy, he doesn't have to lie. So that is why now you're seeing all of the podcasters, Dylan, Schultz, Theo Vaughn, and now Joe Rogan, telling you it as it actually is, and not BSing you. They said anti-war, and I'm relieved to find out they meant anti-war. Wait till you see what he says here.
So, as I mentioned earlier, his guest is Michael Schellenberger. He's an author and journalist. And in this next clip, they discuss, or I should say debate, whether or not Israel has an outsized influence over US foreign policy. Take a look.
The whole older system was that you had this international, Security Council would have to agree, the Congress would have to agree. That's all gone now. I mean, it's just a totally different, this guy is just acting. He says he's not getting where they want to get in the negotiations with the Iranians, so he says we have some leverage over you and we're gonna use it.
Similarly, but clearly Israel wanted this.
Israel has its own motivations, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it's not quite accurate to say that, I just don't think, I think all the evidence shows that Trump is his own man and he's the president. Trump's doing what he wants to do. And we should.
You really think it's that simple? Trump's doing what he wants to do, and that's it?
Yes.
You don't think people are influencing him? Because there's a lot of war hawks around him, right? There's a lot of people that want this and have for a long time.
I mean, Netanyahu's in there, but then Tucker was in there a bunch.
But do you think
Tucker
has the kind of influence that Netanyahu has?
Well, I mean, I guess if you just base it on the outcome, then the answer is no.
No.
I think Michael Schellenberger is a lot smarter than he is making himself out to be. I'll just leave it there.
No, I won't leave it there.
Comments.
Can I jump in? Yeah. No.
Like, that's ridiculous. Really, Israel's not influencing Trump, really? Oh yeah, Miriam Adelson handed over $300,000 to the Trump campaign just out of the kindness of her own. I'm sorry, 300 million. Jesus Christ. It always blows my mind. Our democracy is a farce. We don't really live in a democracy. The fact that a single couple can give the president of the United States $300 million for his campaign, that should be illegal, but it's not. Corruption is baked into our system. But anyway, do you really think that the Adelsons were just gonna hand over $300 million for no reason? They're not expecting anything in return. Come on, Michael, you're smarter than that, Michael. Come on, you are. I don't know why you're pretending to be dumb, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know if Michael is smart at all. There's a chance he's an idiot.
No, I know Michael. I know Michael personally. He's not a dumb guy. But
all right, well then he's acting dumb and he's a liar.
Yeah.
So that's a bigger problem. So I don't know him from Adam, and I don't want to know him because what he was saying there is absurd and is an attempt to deceive the American people. Look, I get it that some people genuinely believe that, but they're so they've almost brainwashed themselves. Oh, Israel has no influence, no influence. It's anti-Semitic that they say that they have influence. Are you lunatics? Are you lunatics? You think the 300 million doesn't affect them? Number one lifetime donor to Joe Biden, Mike Johnson, Schumer, Jeffries. No, it doesn't affect them. $100 million, number one lobby group in the last election, sent to 94% of Congress, and that doesn't affect them because the politicians are so moral and holy? No, it's an untenable position. And these morons or liars in mainstream media keep telling you it's not Israel. It's definitely not Israel in a way that makes you wonder, what are you guys doing? What are you up to? I really question Michael Schellenberger and his motivations, right? I question your motivations because it is an impossible thing to say that Israel did not have a massive influence in this war. It's preposterous to say that.
The thing that's amazing about it, Cenk, is, and this has been an ongoing thing that's making me more and more agitated. So people will be like, why are you always yelling? Why are you so angry all the time? Because here's the thing, okay? You will have members of the Israeli government telling you exactly what they're gonna do, and then they do it. And then all I do is say, hey, these Israeli government officials said that they were gonna do something, and then they did it. And I get in trouble. You get called an anti-Semite for pointing that out. No, that's not what it's not a genocide, even though they kept saying we're gonna do a genocide. We're gonna like slaughter every single Palestinian in Gaza. Okay. In the case of Israel's influence on Donald Trump, Trump literally ran as an anti-war candidate in 2016, in 2020, in 2024. Okay, he was pressured like crazy by Benjamin Netanyahu to go to war with Iran in his first term. He resisted. And then you have our own Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, saying on the record, well, Israel was gonna strike and our soldiers in the region are sitting ducks, so we had no choice and we decided to strike first. He said that. So in other words, Israel dragged us into this war. To claim that you don't think Israel had an influence on Trump is just, first of all, demonstrably false, of course. But also, yeah, you're right, Cenk. Either you're lying or you're playing dumb or both. I don't know, but it needs to stop. It needs to stop. You lose your credibility when you literally have our own government officials saying and admitting on the record, we got dragged into this war because of Israel. And then you have people, a self-described journalist saying, no, I don't think Israel had anything to do with it. I think that Trump is his own man.
Yeah, and I want to point out a different lie. And I get it that maybe they don't think they're lying. Like nobody looks at themselves in the mirror and thinks I'm the bad guy, right? And so they've gotten themselves to believe, and probably because they're so worried about anti-Semitism spreading. So they're like, so let's actively lie and say that Israel has no control, no power, no influence at all, because otherwise people will become anti-Semitic. So we have to just all lie in unison. They think subconsciously, but look at the second lie. So he says, now you know Donald Trump's his own man. Of course, everybody knows that. Really? When Qatar gave him a $400 million jet, he seemed like he was way friendlier to Qatar. When people give him money into his cryptocurrency, they get a get out of jail free card. Like Donald Trump is the easiest man in the world to influence. All you have to do is give him money and he'll do whatever you want. But yet Michael whatever his name is, Schellenberger, okay, comes out and he's like, oh, Donald Trump is his own man. All of a sudden he's his own man? When you've been criticizing him all along for all the bribes he took and all the money he was influenced by, but when it comes to Israel, no way, it was only Donald Trump, only America. Don't ever blame beloved Israel. No, you guys are, it's a full mask off moment. They look ridiculous. In the old days when they had a monopoly on media and they could just stamp anti-Semite on anyone and just cancel them forever, they had complete monopoly of the airwaves. Now that they do not have a monopoly, they look so unbelievably stupid to the rest of us.
But by the way, Cenk, even the old guard, and I'm talking about like the war cheerleaders, historically speaking, Wall Street Journal is a good example of that, right? Even they are publishing incredible reporting about how Senator Lindsey Graham kept meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and basically coaching him on what to say to Donald Trump to convince him to get involved in the Iran war. That was a huge story that just got published. So look, it's just the truth matters. The truth matters. Your personal opinion on the war, if you like the war and you support the war, then just say it. But you don't have to lie about why we're involved in the war in the first place or why Trump got dragged into doing this in the first place. You have to be honest with your audience, especially if you use the label of journalist. There's a responsibility that comes along with that. Now, all of us get things wrong time to time. That's totally okay. But this is a life and death type situation. This has to do with our country sending our soldiers into a conflict that we should not be part of. And we have to be able to spell out why it is we're involved in the first place. That's all I'm saying.
You know the hardest part of starting TYT? It wasn't being on camera. I'm pretty sexy, so that was easy. And it wasn't trying to figure out a new thing called YouTube, that was fun. It was realizing I had to wear every single hat. Writer, producer, marketing department, it was overwhelming. I felt like I was stranded on an island. When you're starting a business, that to-do list can overrun your life. You need a partner, not just any partner, you need Shopify. That's who we chose. Think about it, you need a beautiful online store? Boom, Shopify's got hundreds of ready-to-use templates that match your brand style. You need to find customers? They make it easy to run email and social media campaigns wherever people are scrolling. And what about managing inventory, processing returns, and international shipping? Shopify is your commerce expert. They handle the world-class logistics so you don't have to. Everything from payments to analytics is in one place. No more jumping between platforms. It simplifies your life so you can focus on what you actually started the business to do. Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/TYT. Go to shopify.com/TYT. That's shopify.com/TYT. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.